Okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Easy Markets, a daily pitch international with me, that is Unchanged. Today's the 7th of September 2023. So, welcome, everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendations and should not be considered as such. This material should not be taken as an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. Look, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so, before I go further, Z Angus, hi, good morning. Waving back to you. I hope you're having a wonderful start of Thursday today. Like I said, before we jump into the charts, just a quick mentioning of our Easy Markets website, which you can always check out for more information about us. If you have any questions, just you can always reach out to us. Now, let's have a look at the charts, right? So the first one I want to pick up here is Nikkei 225, as always. Look, this is the list that I'm going to go through on the right. If you can see the instrument there, then yes, you'll know that I'll pick up on that one. If it's not there, then let me know in the chat box, and I'll try to pick up on that one if I can. So yeah, but okay. Now then, Nikkei 225. So look, I talked about this before, and I said to you that if we continue to trade after breaking, of course, this downside line, if we continue to trade above this downside line, then yes, there is a good chance for this one to move higher. Well, for now, I would say that in a way there is, yes, we are seeing a bit of a decline. We're seeing a drop lower, but don't get me wrong, these are the futures that we're seeing here. So maybe we could see a rebound back up at some point. Let's say if the daily candle here, or the body of the daily candle, stays above this downside line, then yes, there is a good chance for this one to move back to the upside. But at this point, of course, everybody's worried, seeing this breakout, thinking that, hey, maybe this is gonna go for a bit of a corrective move lower. That is absolutely fine as well, because look, a bit of a correction here would be nice, I would say, and especially after we had this kind of prolonged move to the upside. Let me just put a Fibonacci here. Maybe a bit of a test of, or a retracement toward that 23.6 could be nice, or maybe even the 38.2% retracement on the Fibonacci. So, but I'll consider that idea if we do see the body of the daily candle here staying below this downside line and somewhere below that 33,000 mark, and then we'll go from there. So yeah, that's the simplistic approach here on Nikkei. Again, look, Nikkei is kind of following whatever is happening right now in the US and of course in China, because again, the Chinese numbers were not the best ones recently. I'll get to that in a bit, but look, for now, like I said, this is the game plan that we can take here on Japanese Nikkei 225. So let's keep it simple, short, and if you don't like this idea, then look, you can wait for something better, something that maybe a little bit more clear. If you, for example, want to keep an eye on the recent high for here near the 33,335 mark, then yes, of course, that's also a good option in terms of considering higher levels. But I get it. Look, maybe we could be missing out on a bit of territory, and that's why keeping an eye on this downside line for now. I want to see in where we will end in relation to it. Now, China 50 index. So China 50. Look, beautiful decline. I would say this way that yes, we broke below this upside line, and this is what I talked about. I said to you that if we do clear the steep upside line, then yes, we could go a little bit lower towards that 50-day EMA, maybe that 12,000 kind of 700 area. We reached that, we cleared it. Look, in general, the Chinese numbers didn't come out very good. The trade balance kind of went much lower. So yes, I think that this is the reaction that we're getting. Also, the concerns in the US at the moment. I mean, the stock market is a little bit on the decline. So yes, everything kind of, all this negativity is piling up. The housing market is seeing cracks a little bit. So, especially in China, and I'm talking about the big developers, big housing developers. So, everything there's like these little bits of negative information here and there, but because there's like such an abundance of those, I think that this is what we're seeing right now. And given that, I think people are understanding the fact that in general there's not much good news. And for the stock market to continue rallying as it was recently, I mean, that's a little bit nonsense. So that's why it's a tricky moment, I would say. I'm carefully examining the short term scenarios. I'm not trying to go something very long term or even medium term. Actually, I'm actually kind of keeping everything short and simple because, again, at this point, I think that it's unclear how everything's going to play out. We do have concerns in the U.S., of course, just because of the rising inflation. Or, okay, I wouldn't say maybe like rising inflation. No, the inflation went down, but now it seems like it wants to creep up a little bit. And this is kind of sparking and fueling that idea that the Fed might not stick with this for too long, right? I mean, on the 20th September, we have the interest rate decision. Currently, of course, the expectation is for a rate hike. A rate hike, no rate hike. But going further down the line, I think yes, they will do it again. But coming back to China 50 index, look, for now, I would say this way that I'm leaning a little bit more towards the downside, as I shown here. My next target is the area near the 12,556 zone, approximately around here. Not exactly that level, but approximately around there. And then yes, we'll just kind of take it from there. In terms of the upside, well, this is where this upside line needs to go. And I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to keep an eye on the 100-day EMA, and that's it. So the 100-day EMA shown as the green line here. If we climb back above it, then this could open the door towards that 200-day EMA, and then we'll take it from there. ASX 200. So also Australian numbers. I think that trade balance of Australia did not make investors happy. And yes, we saw the decline. We saw a drop, and look, everything's working out according to the plan. What I talked about here, I said to you that if we do fall back below the 7,200, 227 territory, yes, then I'll aim for the EMAs, then I'll aim for that 7,200 zone. And if that gets cleared, then yes, we could consider a move, like I said, further south towards maybe this downside line again. But at this point, I think it's better, first of all, to get rid of this downside line, the steeper one. I'm going to keep this one for now, although it's violated, to be honest. I mean, maybe not much significance. It might not carry much significance. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to draw the Fibonacci. And you can see that we have declined, already retraced to 50%. Maybe we could end up going towards that 61.8. Let's see. But again, I think that maybe this arrow has to come somewhere around here. So probably this is what I'm going to target. So in general, if you've missed this breakout, okay, look, it could still drift a little bit lower, but initially I'm going to be now aiming for the 61.8, and then I'll see, and I'll go from there. So jumping into the Dow. Oh, and by the way, also, just as always, good morning. Morning, everyone in the chat room. There we go. Oh, everyone. Everyone, there we go. So good morning, everyone who's tuning in right now. I hope you're having a wonderful start of Thursday. So US indices. Right, yesterday we saw some ISM non-manufacturing PMI numbers coming out. One actually. So that came out much better than expected. It was, the previous one was 52.7. The expectation was for 52.5, and it came out at 54.5. So much better than expected. But Okay, the market continued to decline. And this is what I keep on saying sometimes, like don't really rely on data much. I mean, in general, it's sometimes, sometimes you think that, oh, the data came out this and this, and that's why maybe an initial reaction could be that, yes, it boosts, like, for example, the stock market a little bit higher, but then you see that actually if traders already chose a trend, kind of they kind of stick to it. And in general, I think that people are afraid of what I said already earlier, that there is a good chance that the rates could continue going higher. So I think that what's going to happen, coming closer to the Fed meeting, I think that we will continue maybe seeing some sort of a slide, or maybe some sort of some negativity coming out. The Fed will say, you know what, we're not going to raise rates, and we'll stick to the plan. We will we'll have room for, in case we need to jump in and adjust our policy and increase rates. We're ready to jump in. So it's kind of the usual stuff right now. I mean, but look, for now, what I would like to say here is that in order for me, from the technical perspective, in order for me to, let's say, go lower, of course, as you can see yourselves, I need to see a break of this upside line drawn from the low, the 15th of March of this year, of course. And so far we're kind of holding above it. Let's see if we can break that. If we can break that, great. We could see, like I said, more declines. And my next target will be the area near the 200-day EMA. Although I would like to see a test of the 200-day EMA, but no, because we could have something similar as we had here at the end of August, where it declined. Almost came close to testing the 200-day EMA, rebounded, and pushed back to the upside. So at this point, I'm watching this upside line. I want to see if this is going to work out or not, if we're going to rebound or not. But in general, look, I mean, by the way, if you remember, I talked about this breakout here to the downside, and there we go. It worked out nicely. So now my question is, can we see something like this? Well, of course, that would be very interesting. Why? Because, again, then we would see a nice coiling up moment here, from where, yes, we could see a breakout maybe at some point later on. But at this point, like I said, yes, I mean, we could see maybe a bit of a rebound here if we continue to trade above this upside line. If that line breaks and we stay below it, then yes, I will consider a further move south towards the 200-day EMA. The S&P 500. Oh, and by the way, in terms of economic data today from the US, we have kind of important data, I would say. The usual Thursday's initial and continuous jobless claims, something that the market will be keeping a close eye on. Crude oil inventories are coming out. I'll get to that in a bit, into oil. But yeah, that's in terms of like this data. I think nothing else is there. We do have a few FOMC. I think, yeah, we have the FOMC member Bowman speaking. Oh, and by the way, the Fed's balance sheet is coming out. Right. Okay, that's something maybe interesting to keep an eye on. If and we'll see how that's gonna play out, and maybe a bit of a market reaction. I mean, maybe there could be a bit of a market reaction in this one. So S&P 500, so far so good. Look, I talked about this and I said to you that if we do fall below the 4,478 territory, then yes, I will consider a move lower, especially also if it falls below the 50-day EMA. And yes, so far we're getting that. My next target is the 100-day EMA, as long as we stay below the 50-day EMA. Nasdaq, with a beautiful decline, and we managed to stay slightly above this downside line, the one that we broke. Look, I talked about this before, and I said to you that whenever we break a trend line of some sort, like is it either an upside or a downside one, we kind of tend to test it from the other side as well, and we kind of And this is exactly this is a good example where we drifted, after found good resistance here, we drifted a little bit lower. Now we're getting a little hold up slightly above this downside line. So now my question is, can we rebound? If we cannot and we break below it, then yes, I'm leaning towards the downside, towards my 50-day EMA, and maybe even below that. But if we, let's say, drift lower, test the 50-day EMA, but by the end of the day we drift back up, this would be a beautiful false breakout, and then yes, maybe we could see a bit some more upside on this one. However, I'm going to take a very conservative approach, and I'll wait for a pop above this 15,600 territory, 610, something like that, in order to go a little bit higher. So yeah, that's like I said, that's my game plan. And for now, I'm just, keeping an eye on that one, and keeping an eye on the data. Although sometimes that data is a little bit not very trustworthy sometimes, so, but again, we go with the herd. Now then, DAX, the German index. Okay. The German index here is breaking the upside line. This one that I talked about, we're clearing it, and this is what I said to the last time, that if we do break it and we stay below it, then yes, I'm gonna go a little bit lower. Now, look, again, it's the same story. Because we're just breaking it, we should not be kind of excluding the opportunity maybe to like to see a false breakout as well. So just, I would say, it'll be a little bit more on the careful side. Today we do have some data from Europe coming out, so something to keep in mind, by the way. So we do have the preliminary GDP figures from the Eurozone, so employment change year-on-year figures. So yes, and Q-on-Q as well. So something that might move the German index here. So again, let's keep an eye on it. At the moment, look, I'm leaning towards the downside, towards further downside, but I have to accept the fact that maybe we could also see like a false breakout or something like that here. So at this point, I would say, if you can afford to to jump in here right now and have your stop loss in place somewhere, like maybe on the top of this candle, and if you're like willing to to risk that amount, then yes, okay, maybe we could gamble here. However, I really strongly recommend to wait this one out. Let's say, for example, if you've missed the breakout that I kept on talking about here, the 15,878, then because this is where I was saying that if we do clear that one, I'm going to lean towards the downside and going to aim lower. Yes, we did that move. So in a way, I'm kind of taking a pause here and just observing the price action. But at this point, look, I mean, yes, kind of leaning towards further declines, but I want to be a little bit more on the safe side here. So that's why I'm just going to leave it for now. I'm just going to watch it, and then I'll do something about it. The FTSE 100. So beautiful push further south again. The reason why I'm saying that is because, look, yesterday we did get that move. Somehow the 7,400 territory is doing a very good job. Yes, we cleared it yesterday, but we stayed above it. And that's where the interesting bit comes in. So we're drifting again lower. But look, if we struggle to remain below that 7,400 territory, maybe we are not ready to go lower. We'll see. But with the upside, well, I would need to see a break of this downside line still. So nothing has changed for me here. I'm still watching that one. And yes, if we do clear this downside line, then yeah, I'll get a little bit more excited with the upside. US dollar index, very quickly on that one. So yeah, pushed nicely above that 104.61 territory. And we reached my target, the 105 zone. So great. What's next? Well, what's next? In general, yes. I mean, I'm examining the 105.87 territory right there. Looking quite good, to be honest. That's the current highest point of this year. So very interesting to see if we can actually end up reaching it. So yeah, I will stick to the upside as long as we remain above the 104.61 territory right there. And if we want to consider some lower levels, well, this is where I will shift my arrow a little bit here, because if we want to consider some downside, there is potential for that if we do drop somewhere below this 104.61. And look, I will mention this again, which with this pattern again, which I've talked about previously. It's like whenever I see like a big candle like this with a big body like this, and then we see consecutive candle after that, the second candle, something like not a doji, but let's say with a smaller body, but like the wicks are big here and there, that kind of sometimes signals me a possible reversal. Look, I'm just saying this from my previous experience and how many I've seen these. So but in general, even if that's the case, even if we're going to see, let's say, a bit of a decline, still I need the confirmation drop here back below this 104.61 territory in order to consider slightly lower levels. Let's go jump into gold. There we go. Beautiful move. After we dropped below this 50-day EMA. I talked about this. I said to you, my next target is somewhere around here, near this 1921 zone or this 200-day EMA. Tick, tick. What's next? Well, if we're expecting the dollar index, the dollar index going a little bit lower, let's say, for example, then yes, we might see gold, rebounding, pushing back up, maybe going back to this downside line right here. But look, I mean, it's not certain that, dollar index will, let's say, go lower. No, it's still, there is some positivity on that one. So maybe as long as we stay above this 104.61 territory, yes, we could continue pushing higher. So that's why gold could also continue drifting to the downside. At the moment, we're holding above that 200-day EMA, but look, maybe a bit of a retracement here could be possible. However, I'll consider that idea if we do push and stay, I would say, above this 1921 zone. If we do push back above it, then yes, I will consider a bit of a corrective move here to the upside towards this downside line drawn from the high of the 1st of September. And then, yes, we'll go from there. If we clear it, yes, maybe we could see some higher levels, but let's not rush into anything. For now, let's just keep an eye on this 200-day EMA. So far, it's providing good support. If gold climbs back above the 1921 territory right here, then yes, I will consider a bit of a corrective move here to the upside in the short run. Silver, so this one just continues to decline, and this one is working out perfectly. And to be honest, I mean, look, I said to you yesterday that I'm not gonna rush into any conclusion yet, but maybe, just maybe, this is a nice descending triangle pattern forming. So basically that means that more downside could come. So as long as we remain below the 200-day EMA, I will continue targeting the downside. So yes, that's my scenario here for the downside. For the upside, I will need to see a push back above these EMAs, the remaining EMAs, and then yes, I will consider a bit of a corrective move here to the upside. Wheat. So wheat, looking at the picture here, something that I looked at previously, and look, I talked about this little range here that we had, and then I said to you that, look, maybe we'll break to the downside, maybe it's forming something like a double top here, with the neckline being this one, the lower side of the range, and so far kind of is working out. We saw the breakout, we saw it drift lower, then it's retraced back up. Now the question is, can we see a move back down here? Because look, if it's struggling with this hurdle, this 622.24 territory, or 25, let's round it up here a little bit. If it's struggling with that, then yes, there is a good chance we could see another decline. If you're looking for some higher levels, well, obviously a push back above this highlighted zone is required. Let me just adjust this. For some reason it is like this. There we go. So if we do climb back above this lower side of the this range, then right here, then yes, I will consider a move back up. But at this point, I'm just observing the price action. Oil. Oil is looking quite interesting as well. Oh, sorry, I have an itchy nose. Oil is looking quite interesting. So we do have the crude oil inventories today. Look, I talked about this yesterday. I said to you that given that we found good resistance near the 88 zone, and you can see like yesterday we tested that territory again and we failed to push above it. And yes, I'm going to stick to my game plan, the one that I talked about yesterday. And I'll say that if we do push and stay above the 88 zone, I'll go higher. For the downside, I need to drop somewhere below this 84.90 territory, and then we'll consider a larger correction to the downside towards this upside line drawn from the low, the 28th of June. Ripple, crypto. Boring. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to remove all the drawings and I want to start fresh. And look, first of all, I'm keeping an eye on my EMAs. I can see that we are struggling with them for now, and we are struggling to move higher, but at the same time we're struggling to move lower. So we have the 0.4830 territory, which is somehow providing support. If you're looking for some further declines, then yes, at least a break below that is needed. But don't get me wrong, it could still drift towards the 0.45 territory somewhere around here, find good support, and then rebound. So we have to go carefully with the downside here. And although it's leaning a little bit more towards lower levels, but every potential drop here could be, we do have so many good areas of support. So I think we have to consider all of them, especially the last one here, this 0.4108 area, approximately around there. If you're looking for some higher levels, then yes, obviously a break through all of these EMAs would be needed, and that's for me. And this is obviously for me. If you have something else in mind, okay, you can look. You can do whatever you're comfortable with. You don't have to listen to me. Look, I'm here just to kind of give you an opinion, and if you like it, you take it. If you don't like it, okay, you have your scenarios, you have your setups. So yeah, easy. Anyway, Litecoin, very quickly on that one. So look, so far so good. And I talked about this potential idea of getting a hold up here near this upside line. And look, we tested this upside line, we rebounded from it, and now the question is, can we go higher? Well, I would say this way that yes, there is a chance for this one to go back up, but again, I'm not a strong believer in crypto yet. Maybe this could be interesting, who knows, but it's very tight here, very close to this upside line, so I would rather wait and wait and see. So I rather wait maybe for a break of this downside line here, unless you, let's say, have the financial power to, let's say, go in here and then maybe, if it breaks lower, go in somewhere lower again. So these things you have to consider, and you just, yeah, let's say you I don't know. Like, honestly, I don't know how to explain this one, but basically, look, you decide yourself, right? I mean, you know yourselves better. You know what you can do, what you can do, what you cannot do with your accounts. But just my only recommendation is to, only risk what you can afford to lose. Because if this goes, the opposite direction very quickly, and if you have leverage, especially on that one, then yes, it could hurt you a lot. But okay, it's part of the game. Unfortunately, we do incur losses, and that's and we don't have a crystal ball, as I keep on saying. Now, AUDUSD. So jumping into forex a little bit here. AUDUSD, so far it's holding to this territory. I talked about this, and I said to you, look, we could be seeing a range here after we broke this upside line. We drifted lower, and so far so good. We tested the lower side of the range. That's also perfect. And we're getting our hold up there. We're rebounding. So my question now is, can we see a further decline? Well, for now, I will just take a pause, honestly, because I'm seeing a rebound. There's maybe potential for maybe a retracement back up. But the thing is that if we do push higher, I'm curious if we can climb back above this upside line, because if we do climb back above this upside line and stay above it, then yes, I will consider a move higher. But if we don't and we just drift here somewhere, then it's going to be a beautiful bearish flag, with the pole being this one. And like I said, if we do get that little corrective move here higher, but if it struggles to get back above this upside line, then yes, it could be a beautiful bearish flag forming. So, you know, but either way, even if it is a bearish flag, a break through this territory is required through this lower side of the range. AUDJPY. So far so good. Look, the same analysis is still valid. We are rebounding from this downside line, so that's good. Yeah, and we're above all the EMAs as well. So in a way, there is some positivity in this. So let's see if we can climb back towards that 94.90 territory. I will stick to the upside as long as we remain above all of the EMAs on my daily chart here. Even if we do actually also remain above this, above the crossroads of these two trend lines, I'll remain something like cautiously bullish. For the downside, in the short run, I need to see a break below the crossroads of these two trend lines, and then I'll consider a move towards the 200-day EMA. NZDJPY. The picture here is very, very interesting. I keep on picking up on this one because, look, we're coiling up, and I am waiting for that breakout. I'm really interested to see where this is going to go and how this is going to break. And yeah, I mean, I really don't know. It's a bit of a coin toss. So let's wait and see on this one. But it could present itself with a very nice opportunity here. CHFJPY. I have picked up on this one a while ago. Look, we were trading above this upside line here. Something a little bit different, and we are also trading above this territory right there. So yes, if we above this 164 zone. So look, this is a very important area of support, I believe so, and also I think it will coincide with the 50-day EMA here. So in a way, there is good potential for some upside as long as we remain above this territory, above that 164 zone. However, maybe you're not comfortable with that, and maybe you want to look at something else. So 166.59 zone is also something to keep in mind, or should I say maybe the 60. Yep, so 166.60. This is the barrier also to watch for the upside, because a nice good pop above it would confirm a forthcoming higher high. USDJPY. USDJPY continues to push higher. Look, I mean, so far so good. I said to you previously that if we do push above the 146.56 territory, then yes, I will go a little bit to the upside. For now, I am still leaning towards the upside. Look, I have my target here near the 148.85, and then I'll take it from there. Look, in general, I am very careful with this one just because I am kind of waiting for the BOJ intervention, and if that's going to happen, we could see a lot of yen demand, and we could see this pair, for example, drifting nicely to the downside. Oh, sorry, my back kind of hurts a little bit. So yes, yes, like I said, and especially if it's gonna come in line with the idea of the DXY correcting back down as well, maybe all could align nicely here. So let's keep an eye on that one. But USDCAD. So yes, yesterday we got the BoC rate, the Bank of Canada rate, interest rate. So yes, that came out unchanged, 5%. So yep, they're sticking to their current game plan. Okay, look, we saw some weakness initially in the Canadian dollar. Then we can see that it quickly reversed back down, just because I think that it's mainly because of oil. As I said to you previously, that Canadian dollar has a positive correlation with oil, just because the Canadian economy heavily depends on oil exports. And yes, as we know, oil continues to climb a little bit higher, and yeah, we can see that there is a fight from the Canadian dollar bulls. And yes, and then basically in general, we're also near this key resistance barrier, which is, I think, the whole area I have to mark on this one. Yeah, so I need to mark this whole territory right there. Let me just, yeah, we'll do it this way. So this is something that I'm keeping a close eye on. And look, if we clear it, yes, it increases the chances for this one to move a little bit further north. But I have this downside line drawn from the high of the 13th of October, which could provide a bit of resistance. So just keep an eye on that one, guys. If by any chance we struggle to overcome this highlighted territory right here, then a bit of a retracement here back down could be possible. So let me just adjust these arrows. I think it's better to do it this way. Just a sec. Yep, and yes, so for the downside, if we continue to trade below the 1.3640 territory, yes, I will consider a bit of a move to the downside right here. So that's my game plan for this. In terms of USDCHF, look, so far so good. Also drifting nicely to the upside. Yeah, so look, I talked about this and I said to you that as long as we remain above this territory, above the 0.89 zone, then yes, I will continue targeting my 200-day EMA. That's the game plan I'm going to stick to. But of course, the similar story, look, maybe this little pattern here, that we have a big candle here, then we have a little corrective, or not corrective, but like a smaller body candle with bigger wick. So this sometimes indicates a possible, retracement. But I think for that, I would like to see it drop somewhere back below the 0.89 zone. And then, yes, I'll consider maybe a bit of a retracement here initially towards the 100-day EMA and then the 50-day EMA. US dollar against the Mexican peso. I'm just gonna look at it, but probably I'm not gonna say anything because so far it's just picture perfect. Honestly, like technical masterpiece. So we broke the upper side of the range, great. And then what I said to you that my next target will be this 200-day EMA. And to be honest, I think mission accomplished because we came very close to it. That's fine, absolutely great. So what's next? We can now, I think that keep an eye on this. Yes, of course, but at this point, this time I will pause a little bit. I'll just keep an eye on it, and I want to see what's going to happen further. Will we get that break through the 200-day EMA? If we can, that will be the first one since what? Since September of 2022. So how interestingly what a coincidence that in September we could potentially also break the 200-day EMA. Wow. I mean, like honestly, talk about coincidences. And you can see straight away that, people are running this show here and, people are involved, not machines, because even though, yeah, machines are maybe trading, but still people's ideas are, machines are following people's ideas. And yeah, we're seeing that, So like I said, for me, the question now is, can we break this 200-day EMA? If we can, okay, we might stay. But then my question is, will something like this happen here? Will we get, like a reversal back below it? So, but look, I'm keeping it for now. In general, mission accomplished on this one. So I'm just now resting and just observing the price action. GBP Aussie. So haven't looked at this one for quite a while. So look, we are still trading above this upside line drawn from the low of the 26th of September. We are also trading below this downside line taken from the high of the 17th of August. So what it means for now is that in order for me to consider, let's say, a move lower or something like that, there is still, yes, there is a good possibility we could see that move lower towards that 50-day EMA because we have found strong resistance near this downside line. So I'll aim for this 50-day EMA for now, and then we'll see from there. But if you're not really comfortable with this idea, look, you can just easily wait this one out. Wait until we get a clearance through one of the sides of this, one of the sides of this, triangle kind of ish, or let's put it this way, a break through one of the trend lines. When we get one of that, then we could consider the next short-term directional move. EUROCAD, beautiful move here to the downside. Yes, I talked about this, and it seems like the euro continues to feel the heat, and the Canadian dollar now is picking up the pace and getting a little bit stronger. So yes, if we continue to trade below the 1.4633 territory, I'm going to lean towards the downside, especially if we also stay below the 100-day EMA. EURCHF is also looking quite attractive, and if you want to go higher, well, let's not forget that we're in the range, and look how well this upside line played out here. So if we want to go a little bit to the upside, I think a break back above this upside line, although I get it, it's already violated, but somehow it provided resistance yesterday. So just out of nowhere, just here. So that's in a way kind of telling me that maybe I should keep it for now. If we do climb back above this upside line, maybe we'll also be above the midpoint of this range and potentially could attract more buyers into this. Maybe we could also break the 50-day EMA and the 0.96 territory. So in general, I would get more comfortable with the upside on a break of the 0.96 zone, because it also coincides with the 50-day EMA. And if we climb above it, then yes, it opens the door towards the upper side of the range. But let's not forget that we're currently closer to the lower side of the range, and the prevailing trend was to the downside before we entered that range. So according to all the TA rules, there is a good chance that this could break lower. But again, a confirmation break here through the lower side of this range is needed, and that is roughly around the 0.9525 territory. EURNZD, so yes, drifting nicely to the downside. Look, I haven't looked at this for quite a while. I can't remember if I had like some lines here, but I think it's loading up still. So yes, for now, just bear with me one moment. Okay, let me just draw something here. So first of all, a few of the trend lines. Now, one of them is here, and I get it. It's a little bit on the tentative side, but to be honest, all of them are going to be on the tentative side, because what I'm going to do here is I'm going to mark a bunch of trend lines here, and yes, for now, I think that it's the safer option just to kind of consider all of them. For now, of course, I'm going to consider all these. And also, let me just put this back on the chart. This is something that I do all the time. So I go slowly. Whenever I'm in a pickle and I don't know exactly which one to choose, I'll draw all of them, and then I go from, slowly, step by step on each one of them. So this is what I'm going to do right now. So you can see that we are above this steepest upside line still. If you want to go lower, I think a break of it is required. That's a simplistic approach on this pair. Also, a drop below this territory, somewhere below this 1.8085, and a drop below the 50-day EMA could do the trick for a few more sellers until we potentially reach the other trend line. So basically, yes, as you probably already understand, it would be something like this, basically. So let me just grab this, grab that. There we go. And yes, and then like further on like that. So yes, that's my kind of scenario here for the downside. For the upside, it's also not as clear, and I would like to see a break of this downside line right here in order to go higher, go back maybe towards the highest point of the of August. I think. Let me just double check. Yep, the highest point of August right here. But yeah, look, I need to see a break of this downside line in order to consider that move. And finally, EURUSD. So continues to slide. That's all fine. I talked about this, and I said to you that if we do fall below this 1.0766, then yes, my next target is the 1.0733 tick. And now we keep on staying below it. So that means that maybe there could be some more downside to come. And if you want to go for some lower levels, then yes, there is a good chance of doing that, because as long as we stay below the 1.0733, then yes, my next target is the 1.0667 right here, marked by the low of the 6th of June. It's not the lowest point of June. No, I think the lowest point of June is around here, the 1.0662. Yeah, we could keep an eye on that one actually as well, just for the maybe just because it's a beautiful level. It's the lowest point of the of June of this year. So yeah, why not? Let's keep an eye on it. If it comes close to it, then we'll understand that maybe actually decided to respect this territory instead. So yeah, I can keep it. I can keep these both on the chart, but for the upside, if we somehow climb back above this territory right there, this 1.0766, that's where I'll get more comfortable with the upside, and I'll consider a bit of a larger correction to the upside here towards this 200-day EMA. I'm not saying that I'm going to get very, very bullish. No, I'm just going to initially aim for the 200-day EMA because maybe it's going to be just part of the nice, beautiful corrective move higher. So guys, that's it for this session. I hope you found it useful, and thank you very much for watching and listening. I really appreciate your time, guys, your views, your rocket ships, your comments, everything. I really appreciate that, so because it really helps me a lot. So I hope you, like I said, I hope you found this session useful. In general, I hope you find my sessions useful. And like I said, I'm not here to tell you, where to enter or, enter, buy or sell. No, I'm just giving you potential scenarios where it could, what could happen. Because in general, in the markets, nothing is for sure, nothing is guaranteed. We're just trying to, basically, I'm trying to give you different scenarios, what could potentially happen. We still have to, adjust our risk. That's the most important. We just have to kind of go carefully, slowly, and we should not, how to say it? Look, we should not overtrade, and this is what I keep on saying every time in my sessions. That look, risk only what you can afford to lose. Don't overtrade. Have your stop losses in place, and everything will be fine. And Z Angus, thank you very much for the nice words, for the kind words. I really appreciate that. Franz Du, thank you as well, and Blessed Pips, thank you too. In general, thank you everyone who joined. But yeah, as always, don't forget to join me tomorrow for the same session, 6 o'clock GMT time, and yeah, We'll have a look at some of these instruments, some new ones maybe, yeah, we'll see. Maybe some other setups, maybe something else will come up. But yeah, the markets always present us with something. But like I said, most important, just be careful. Don't overtrade. Have your stop losses in place. Risk only what you can afford to lose, and everything will be fine. Thank you very much, and bye-bye. If you want to continue to please the trading gods, subscribe to our channel for a blessing.